How disciplined can Japanese athletes get? If you watch the NBA, you probably heard the story of Yuki Karamola. A classic underdog, small frame, big stage, outworks everyone and still makes it. Every year the basketball world produces the opposite stories. Unreal gifted, wasted careers. Guys like Tracy McGrady or Dwight Howard, you look at them and might think, if they trained like Yuki, could they have reached LeBron James or Kobe Bryant's level? But you know what? That kind of wasted talent stories almost never happens with Japanese athletes. Basketball, football, whatever. 30 years ago there was an anime, Bleach in the West, massive in Asia, slam dunk. One line defined it: if you give up, the game is already over. It didn't sell just copies. It shaped an entire generation of Japanese basketball dream, including the 5'7" guy who had no business surviving elite basketball and still made it. That's Yuki. But what if I tell you the discipline you see in Japanese athletes has nothing to do with the killer mentality you see in Kobe and LeBron? What do you think about it? If you tell a Japanese fan that Yuki is not a big name in the NBA, they probably won't buy it. Cause in that worldview, the underdog who never quits is the main character. You think sports are best players win everything? Japan disagrees. In Japan, the most respected players are not always the most talented. They are the ones who grind, who endure, who don't break. You might say winning is all that matters. How hard you train is personal, not a moral issue. But here's where it gets backward. Players like Allen Iverson or Shaq O'Neal, put them in Japan, they might not even survive school teams within a year. Japanese youth system don't just track skills. They track obedience, attendance, effort, and attitude. Hard metrics: show up late, slack off in practice, mess around off the court, ignore the coach. You're out, no debate, nobody's talented. Coaches will rather take an average player who runs, listens, and shows up over a freak talent with bad attitude every single time. Even someone like Shaq might survive a bit longer because dominance comes by tolerance, but only as a tool, not the core, never respected. You think sports should reward strength and best player win? Clean logic, except Japan's not optimized for that. Japanese sports, especially before the pro level, are not just about competition. They are a training system for people. The real output is not champions. It's disciplined, predictable, cooperative individuals. High compliance, high endurance, no volatility. You think it's absurd, but the system just trusts stability and predictability. Talent is unpredictable, creativity is unstable. Only effort and discipline are controllable variables. Trainable, observable, repeatable. Yes, results matter, but before you earn the right to compete, you must prove one thing first. You are controllable, not exceptional. You think it's completely different from what you think? Don't rush, it's just the beginning. A lot of people think the West doesn't value hard work. That's just lazy thinking. Effort is just the baseline at the top level. Anyone who doesn't work hard is already gone. Even Shaq, you can say he was not Kobe level obsessed, but you can't say he didn't work. People love saying Lionel Messi is pure talent, but David Beckham once mentioned the training starts at 10, Messi shows up before 7. At the age of 38, still runs 10 kilometers a game. No legend is just talent. They are always both. But that model doesn't work in Japan. Very few people like to admit is that Japan doesn't assume equal physical potential. Height, strength, explosiveness. There is a gap, and you didn't close that gap with belief. You close it with volume, training density, execution precision. Here's the kicker. In East Asian culture, failure doesn't define your social value. If you fail but gave everything, you're still respected as a tragic hero. But if people think you didn't try your hardest, you're socially dead. So discipline in Japan is not personal, it's enforced. Kobe trains hard because he hates losing. He chases dominance. And most Japanese athletes, they train hard because not doing so is not an option. You might say, why care so much about social judgment? Why not just be yourself? Don't rush. Once we go all the way down, the answer becomes so obvious. In Western culture, standing out and showing your uniqueness are encouraged. But in East Asia, that can be a risk signal. Think about Japanese society as a classroom. 50 students but only one teacher. Now remove discipline, let everyone ask freely, speak freely, move freely. That class collapses in minutes. Now add one more variable, disaster risk, earthquake and tsunamis. No warning, when something hits, the teacher doesn't need creativity. They need coordination immediately. If every student improvises, different escape routes, different decisions, the exit clocks, chaos multiples, everyone loses. So what's the optimal system? Not brilliance, synchronization. Everyone moves together, no surprises. Even if a student has a better escape idea, it doesn't matter, not the moment. Because uncertainty is the real enemy, not inefficiency. That's the core model of Japanese society. Yes, it suppresses individuality. Yes, it limits creativity. But under high-risk condition, it maximizes survival. It doesn't aim to produce the strongest individual, it ensures the largest number of people make it out alive. And sports, that's just one visible corner of that system. So when you see a Japanese athlete training like a machine, don't romanticize it. That's not just discipline, that's architecture. Alright, that's it for today. If you also like digging to the root, hit follow, we'll dig it deeper next time.